Friday. It is the end of the first week of October, and it has been a beautiful week. I did many things. I actually went and visited my sister who lives on the west side of the state, and we had a really great time. I got to go book shopping with her. I got to have tea with her. Got to take naps in the sun, hang out with her dogs and her cats. We went thrift shopping. We just did a bunch of really beautiful fall activities. And so I have some footage of that you can see. And then this weekend I have some stuff going on both Saturday and Sunday. I have a women's march that I'm going to be participating in tomorrow, and Sunday will be my baby brother's birthday. So we're gonna be having that. So I might film some of it, I might not, but those are the things. That's just this week. So welcome to the vlog, I guess, even though the vlog has already started. I want to talk about the things that I have been reading this week. So when I visited my sister, I brought 3 books. I finished 2 of them, and then I bought 1 of them. So let's go through. The first book that I finished while I was there, I actually stayed up till 3 a.m. to finish this. The first night I got in, and that is The Attic Child by Lola J. And I took a while to start this book because I didn't think it was going to be amazing. I thought it would be enjoyable, but it actually turned out to be a fantastic book. I really loved it. It sucked me in. Obviously, I was up until 3 in the morning trying to get to the end because I couldn't put it down. Sorry, that's my chair. So it's about 2 children who they both suffer a lot of abuse and capital T trauma at the hands of their caretakers, and they both experience this abuse within the same house, but their experiences are 70 years apart. So we have one little boy whose name is Dikembe. He's from Africa, the Congo, and he's brought to England and he suffers abuse there. And then 70 years later, a little English girl named Laura is also abused in the same attic. And it's about how their stories intertwine. It's about how they learn about each other, how their very different experiences are still very connected. And I really like this one because the ending actually was happy. It had a really satisfactory ending. It wasn't fluffy happy, but it was good. It was a good ending to the book, and so I always like that. I know it's a little bit popular now for books to be a little nihilistic or hopeless in the end because we want realistic stories, but this one was a realistic story that was still happy to read. It was tough to read. Obviously there are some trigger warnings in this one, so if you have any problem with racial injustice, abuse, child abuse, obviously, I would check those before you read this book, but I really enjoyed it. It was a beautiful, beautiful book written from 2 points of view of 2 children. Then, as soon as I finished that one, the very next morning I woke up and we had nothing planned all day long. My sister had to work, and so I was just like, I'm gonna read all day. And I picked up Dracula because it is October, my friends, and it is time for spooky reads. And this is my favorite copy of Dracula I've ever seen. Black sprayed edges, a pleather red cover that, even though I read through this whole thing, the spine has not cracked. It's just like, it's such a delight to read. I love Dracula because, why do I love Dracula? I love Dracula because it is so unapologetically in your face spooky. The first chapter, it's like, I'm Jonathan Harker and I'm keeping a journal, and things were very, very scary. It's just like, I arrived and the carriage was surrounded by wolves and there was blue flames, and you know, people were making the sign of the cross over me as I walked through Transylvania, and it's just like, it's so over the top, like to the point where it's cheesy, but because it's like a classic and written in like that dark Victorian style, it doesn't hurt. It's not like cringe, it's just delightful. And there's so many times in this book where you just have to put it down and be like, Bram, my man. thank you, but calm down. But I read this in like a day, no, 2 days, two and a half-ish days, which is pretty, I mean, I really got through it. I did not put it down. Let's see, it's like 300 and, yeah, it's just over 400 pages, 401. So I love this. It was thoroughly enjoyable. It was a great start to my spooky season reading, and I can't wait to get into more. The third book that I brought with me, but I did not finish, and I am still hardly even into it. I think I'm on page like 12 or something. Yeah, page 11, and that is Everything Sad is Untrue. And this is a true story / memoir of a 13-year-old boy who is a refugee from, I think it's Iran. I'm not sure. I'm so like, I'm not that far in, and so I haven't even heard the name of the country that he's from. I just know the town that he's in right now. But he's a refugee from the Middle East, and it's his story of how all of the things that he's gone through at such a young age. It's witty, it's funny, but it's also very poignant. I've already highlighted a few lines in here, and I'm only on page 11. I'm gonna take this one very, very slow. So the other two books I was reading physically, but I augmented them with audiobook because of my eyesight. I just can't go very fast. This one I am reading completely with my own 2 eyeballs, which are terrible. They just don't work very well, and so I go very slowly. I can read maybe 3 pages, and like a page every 10 minutes, so like 3 pages every half hour. So this is going to take me a long time, but I really wanted to read it physically. I don't want to get an audiobook for this one, even though it might be fun. I don't know. I just wanted something that was just physical. I don't know. Sometimes I just get a little homesick for it. Yes, and then, as you saw, we went to a bookstore in Bellingham, Washington, and I had such a hard time picking out a book because I had already brought 3 books with me, and my bags were stuffed, and I had bought clothing at a thrift store that were also going to stuff my bags even more, and I did not have room. I wanted to buy the most beautiful copy of Middlemarch because I haven't read Middlemarch yet, but it's like at the very top of my to-be-read list. Cloth bound, classic cover. There was a lot of books there that were hardcover copies, and I didn't want to bring back a hardcover because it would be heavy and bulky. But then I found this. This is The Plague by Camus. I have never read anything by Albert Camus, but my sister saw me pick this up and she was like, oh my goodness, I read that book in school and I absolutely loved it. And I do understand that the world went through a plague recently, and we're still in the middle of dealing with aftermath of the plague, and it's still here, and it's still kicking our butts, and it still sucks. But I feel like now is the time to read this. I wouldn't have wanted to read this like in 2020, for example, but it's going to be interesting, and it is, I'm excited for it. Essentially, it's just a story about a plague and an infestation of rats in the Middle Ages, but it was written in 1947, I think, or 49, and it's just like a commentary on pestilence, the decimation of war and its impact on people, how illness and self are connected. So yes, I'm excited about this one. I'm not sure when I will get to it, but eventually, hopefully. Also, it came with a cute bookmark. We went to Village Books. So that's cute. And on the, look, I love this on the back. It says my next read, and you can put like a list of books that you want to read so you don't forget. So yeah, free bookmark. And also, this is a secondhand book. I love buying books secondhand. Thrifted books are probably like one of my most favorite things in the whole world. So that is reading progress. What else? Oh yes, also I am reading on audiobook The Warmth of Other Suns, and it is rocking my world. I am obsessed with it. it's in my ear holes at all times. I think I have like 5 hours left, and it's already a 5-star read. It's 5 stars. It's gonna go on my favorite shelf. The information the information that's coming into me is amazing. There are things that I did not know about. Oh, that was loud. There are things I did not know about the Jim Crow era. There are things I did not know about the Great Migration of Black people from the South to the North and West. You know, like, we're taught the basics in school, like Martin Luther King and Southern segregation in the States and what that was like, but the level of detail in this is amazing. It's written kind of in four different, I don't want to say points of view, because that's not what it is. It's a nonfiction book, so they're not points of view, but you follow 3 people in particular, 2 young men and 1 young woman. One is a doctor, one is an orange picker from Florida, and the other is a young woman who used to be a sharecropper, cotton farmer, and they all migrate from their southern states to either the western states or the northern states to escape the terrible Jim Crow laws. And so you follow their stories. It's kind of broken up, and then also there are some chapters that are just about the general unrest, the general bad things that are happening, the general condition of the country at the time, what people were experiencing. And so it's really fascinating. The storytelling and the pacing is superb. 5 stars. I'm kind of sad that I only have 5 hours of it, and I'll probably be finished with it by this time tomorrow. But yeah. What's wrong, baby? Are you talking? Yeah, I think she's shut out. Hold on a second. Yeah? You get stuck outside the door? Come here. So yeah, that's reading updates. You want to come over here? She wants to sit on my lap, but she's nervous. Come on. I want to do some things. Like I said, tomorrow I'm going to be participating in a women's rights march, which I'm really excited about, but also really nervous. I've never done anything like that. But, so yeah, that's going to be tomorrow. But also, tomorrow evening, if I can, I want to decorate my room for autumn, because it needs it. And I have my orange twinkly lights that I pulled out of the closet. I have my fall bedding that I've pulled out. I'm gonna hang up some pictures, and today I got candles in the mail, and I ordered candles that all smell like autumn scents, and it's gonna be great. I'm gonna have a wonderful time kind of just resetting my room to get it nice and autumnal. And then Sunday is my brother's birthday, so I'll probably be baking a cake, and I'll show you that as well. But that has been this week so far. I hope that you had a beautiful week, the first week of October. It's been really warm here, like high 70s every day, bright and sunny. It's a little weird that there are still like flowers blooming in the garden. Usually there's been a frost by this point and everything's kind of dead. So that's really nice and enjoyable, and I've been reading outside a lot, and everybody loves that. That's just a good vibe. So yeah, I will talk to you soon. Look at these kittens, babies. busy weekend. I've done a lot of things, but today I just spent most of the day sprucing up my room, changing out my bedding, cleaning stuff up, making it look nice for fall. I hung up my orange twinkly lights. I also hung up some stuff on the wall. So I was hammering away and I had a lot of fun. I really am, sorry, I kicked my chair. I really am happy that my space is clean. So that's that. As far as reading updates, I finished The Warmth of Other Suns, which might be one of the best books I've read this year so far. It's definitely 5 stars. It's amazing. I read a library copy, but I don't know if I should own it, but I feel like I should buy it. Like I should support that this book exists. It was amazing. I learned so much, and I feel motivated to like learn more. So that was really great. Still been slowly working on Everything Sad is Untrue. I think I may be 5 more pages into it. It takes me such a long time to read this tiny little print with my eyes. But I really enjoy it, and I think I'll get better at it. Like I'll get faster. Let's see. So this is a nonfiction. The Warmth of Other Suns was also nonfiction. So I just wanted to kind of read just kind of really fun, not fluffy books, but just like fun fiction. So I started 2 other books. They're both audiobooks. The first one is Treasure Island, which I am listening to before I go to bed. The narrator, it's actually on a podcast called Storylight, which I just listened to on Spotify, and their narrator is it's a production. It is not just an audiobook, it's an actual production. He puts in amazing sound, amazing voices, like he's an actor, and so it's the best audiobook experience that you could have. He does a lot of children's books on his podcast, like Wind in the Willows was another one that I listened to a while ago that was beautiful. So I'm listening to Treasure Island before I go to bed, and it's so nostalgic. It's a beautiful adventure story, coming of age of this boy, and you know the story of Treasure Island. Like everybody probably as a kid like drew a map for like treasure. It's inspired by Robert Louis Stevenson because he's a genius. So it's really comfy to just like lie in bed and listen to a fun story. And then just a few hours ago, while I was setting up my room, I started The Lord of Stariel, which is the first book of the Stariel series. It's kind of like a steampunk fantasy, like magic, but also modern day technology. So, but also is not, I think it's an alternate universe. I don't think it's supposed to be like here. I'm not sure. I'm like in the middle of chapter 1. I don't know anything about it actually. I just know that it's a fun fantasy. It was free with my Audible premium account, so like I didn't have to use a credit or pay for it. So sometimes those can be iffy. Sometimes they really are not good, but this one seems to be okay so far. Like I don't hate it. The narrator is pretty good. It's like really easy to follow, so it's nothing stellar, but the story seems interesting so far. And it's really easy to listen to, so I can put it on while I'm like doing other things. So those are the 4 books. There's one other thing that I was gonna say about reading. Oh, I pulled out my collection of Emily Dickinson poems. I want to read 1 poem a day. Because they're short, so I can get through it. It's not going to be hard. And I just kind of miss reading some poetry. I feel like autumn is the perfect season for poetry. Autumn and winter just feel like poetry season to me. So I pulled out some poems. I'll be reading those as well. So yeah, that's everything so far. So I started a few books, finished a few books, continuing some books that I had going before, and it's been good. It was a really good time, and I have another video planned coming up that I'm really excited about. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Subscribe so that you don't miss it, because it's going to be very nice and cool. And I wish you all well.